So, I have had a subtle and hopeful new awareness today. Thought I'd share. It's about how I relate to video and guitar and my voice and connecting with the state of Asaya. The state of Asaya is a state of being in which I arrive to train, to receive and share the transmission of Asira. So it's a delivering of the mail. And last week when I began going into it, it's just, my emotion fluctuates a lot. And there are days where I'm like totally in the pocket and I just wake up that way and I'm rocking, and then there are days where I just have like a lot of fucked upness inside of me and anxiety, and just like it's almost like arriving to a space where I'm gonna create music is it can be very difficult. And sometimes it's also the catalyst to make music. Like I feel like hell, and this is just the way that I can cry. More often recently, it's like the musical gates are just held back, and that being said, today I made an agreement. I actually made an agreement with myself last night. I had a fun fucking night last night. I went to a bar. I brought my laptop and my headphones, and I got into a flow of like learning a bunch of production shit. And I came back and I just got super high and really enjoyed myself. Earlier in the day though, it was kind of like at night I left the house so I could just try to have one last try to salvage the shipwreck of the day. I mean, I'm totally dramatic, but in the day, like I picked up my guitar and I started playing a few chords, and then I just fucking KO'd. Not necessarily sleep, but I just felt like overcome or overwhelmed, and like I couldn't play. Too heavy. And that experience of lead, I know, but it's just part of the weather that passes through me. Last night, I had a great night though. I went out, shook the energy, and really enjoyed myself. Went on a really long walk to this place and found some epic art and graffiti artists and talked to them, and just met some people at the bar and made progress on my music. I came home and I just got high a bunch, and I smoked more than I would normally do, to a point where I was like, okay, I think I had like 4 tobacco marijuanas throughout the day, and I was basically like, okay, on the last one it was like 2 a.m. and I'm like, okay, if I have another one, I'm not gonna sleep till like 4 or 5 probably. Maybe it was like 2:30, but it sounded like so much fun, and I was in a great flow of learning these production techniques. So I was just like, fuck it, I'm gonna do this. And I love doing that. I love the nights that I do it. But I also just don't want to feel like shit in my lungs. So I was just like, okay, if I do this, then I just make an agreement with myself that I won't smoke tomorrow or the day after. And then I'll just feel better. And also, I felt there was also an opportunity to make a different kind of agreement with myself, which was that I would record a video of music, like me, I phrased it as an intimate video, and I had an intention to share it with Shunya. Like, I would like to share with him some of the spaces that I've been tapping into. All of that is basically a preface, because really what I want to talk about is the act of arriving to video. So like last week, I made my week about arriving to the video state, or made my Scrum cycle about arriving to this video state, and it ended up being not very successful. It felt contrived to me. It was like I was trying to do this thing that I felt that I've had this vision of, but when I was putting it into motion, there was something that didn't feel quite right, and so I stepped back, and I was like, okay, how can I relate to this in a different way? And a big portion of the thought form, or the motive towards recording every day, recording a video every day of myself performing music, is with this idea that if I just do that every day, I'm going to be way better at playing music, playing embodied, right? If I just do that every day, I'm going to be way better at playing music. I know there are days that I'm not going to want to do it, or days where I feel like lead, and part of my curiosity is like, do I make myself do it? Do I just recognize like this is really what I want to do with my energy, my time, and there's a lot of days that I'm just like, I don't feel okay, and I do feel I have the power to do it anyways. And I feel like it's powerful to put that power to use, and I have, and I know it's here, and that I can do that. It's almost like a button. Like, I can push the button. If I'd like to push the button, I can. But when I pushed the button, it didn't feel right. And I didn't understand why, but I just was like, okay, I'm going to step back from this. Today, I felt quite leadened. And because I made the agreement with myself last night to record a video, I pushed through the lead, and I had a beautiful musical session. I did make an intimate video. It wasn't something that I would want to post. And here's where I'm kind of coming into the point here. When I relate to Asaya as like I'm creating content to post on social media and market my work, I feel disconnected from my source. And to me, like, there's something symbolic about using my computer which I'm using right now, and using my phone. In general, and this is, a big generalization, but in general, I have a relationship with my computer's webcam where the foundation of our relationship was me just going AWOL, off, totally letting myself rip and be loose. When I was just like totally blasted in life. No notion of I'm gonna post this or I'm gonna share this. This space is really easy for me to just talk and have a conversation with myself. When I pulled out my phone and I set down a vertical video, I have more relationship to everybody else, to social and XYZ. And it's a bit harder for me to be natural. And I say that because I notice a subtle difference in how I relate to and produce these videos. And that subtle difference is this. I after stepping back from creative discipline for like this past week, I've felt a bit lost. I've felt a bit disoriented. And I feel like that's kind of expected from me. I've had supportive structures. I felt a calling to release the structures, and without the structures there's a period of disorientation. So I feel like I was prepared to feel this way in some sense. And it's in leaning into it that I feel something new can emerge, and the presence of something new is what I'm speaking to here. In recognizing, I think it's really important for me to just show up every day and train for this in a way that pushes past what I want to do, and in a way which can be stopped by how I feel. And that was really one of the fundamental reasons that I began Scrum in the first place, was because I wanted to separate my emotional state from the act of showing up to the work. And so since day one, Scrum has been make music every day, and you get one day off, but you're making music every day. And there are some days where I'd show up and it was just like, I felt like death, and put in 15 minutes, and that helped. It's kind of like that's the weakest point in the chain, and by showing up, I'm no longer controlled by that part of my demon, by that demon. I've got multiplicity of selves that operate in a cycle, and I don't necessarily know who's going to come up tomorrow or later today, but I do know all of them, and I'm discovering more. Anywho, I want to work harder. I feel like I've got fundamental talent, and I want skill. I feel like I have a lot of it, but it's like I know what I can do, and I want to do that, and I want to live for that, and arrange myself in a way where this is really just a singular pursuit of existence. and I know in doing so I will not fail. It's not a possibility. It's like, even if I die, it'll be I'll keep going. There's also a sense of like, right now I've had a lot of different iterations of really wanting to be professional in creative work, and I've had no success. Well, yeah, I've had no success with it thus far. I feel popcorn is in the microwave, and that shit's gonna pop. I feel it, and I don't necessarily know when. And as I develop, I simplify, I distill, and I refine myself into a musical pursuit. And I do this in a way where, like, I'm really interested in being like a fully in-house production and making music that blows my shit. And I'm not yet at a point where I'm making professional quality music, and I feel that I can be. And that's what I'm interested in tapping into. What this has done is placed some sense of context for the landscape of like where I am and what I want to do, that I feel is helpful and realistic. And it's not saying that I can't support myself through music or creation unless I'm making professional quality music. It's not that. It's just saying like that's what is important to focus upon. And it's easy to get caught up in wanting to promote and wanting to be a thing in this world and in people's lives, and wanting to do this in the world in a real way. I feel like social media can be so distracting, and I want to make music that when people hear it, they ask what this is, and when I perform it, it moves the entire being. And I feel that music shares itself. And that's not me saying that I'm not going to do like marketing with it. It's just shifting the focus to really delve deeper into the craft. And when I was working with videos last week, I was really looking at it from a marketing point of view. And today I had an experience of the agreement I made with myself, last night, was that I would A, not smoke today, and B, I would record an intimate video of myself. And though I felt like lead in the morning, or when I first began my session, I opened it up. And my interest was simply to just record something that I liked, something that had something. And I think my voice kind of sounded like shit today. But I was exploring a lot of new terrain and doing runs and stuff like that. And I caught this little clip of a video that I liked. And it felt intimate. It felt like new and fresh and special. And when I caught that clip, it was like, okay, I got it. that's it. But it doesn't have a sense of like, I don't want to post it to social media. I don't want to send it to somebody. It's just like, it feels like it's for me, you know? And I think there's something special about like how I relate to myself in this, through my computer, that has perhaps the tone of where the real content comes from, where the mail comes from, where the sound of his ira really comes from, because it's hard for me to do when I'm trying to prove myself. It's way easier for me to do when I'm just speaking to myself, as I am now. Like I'm just having a conversation with myself, and then I'm sharing this. I have interest again in just showing up to playing music every day and recording myself doing so every day, and accumulating a collection of these little snippets, and not necessitating that I put them anywhere, but really just doing it like from my computer, with the care of feeling myself evolve. And it's like, I was trying new terrain today. I was experimenting vocally. I don't really like the sound of my voice today. It just kind of sounded leaden. But I appreciate where I went, the terrain that I explored vocally, and I can feel like I'm really trying to learn something, and I'm making progress, and that's doesn't necessarily sound good all the time, but it feels really good. And if I can create a collection of these little videos that feel really good, that would be worthwhile. And it's not about like posting videos. There's something different between posting a video. This is my last EP. I posted a video because I told myself I had to, and it felt like I was forcing it. It felt like homework, and it was shitty content. Then there's like content that feels like evolution to me, and this clip of this video, amidst a bunch of shitty things that I was doing, experimenting, this clip was like a sign of it resonated with me. And I think that there's a beauty in collecting things that resonate with me. And there's a third tier, which is like things that resonate as Ira. My friend shared this phrase with me: a shooter knows a shooter when he sees a shooter. I think that there is beauty in curating what I put out there into the world, and I don't have to put everything out. I feel like this is a new foundation. Like, I don't have to put everything that I create out. I don't have to put out something once a day or necessarily regularly, but I would like to film myself regularly. And I would like to film myself, what seems like what I've learned today is I would like to film myself from the perspective of like, I'm just talking to me, and I'm collecting these ideas and these little snips and clips for myself, and they're going in this folder, and then maybe some of the things in these folder can develop into songs. Maybe some of these things in these folder don't have to do anything, and then maybe some of these things in these folders can be shared on social. Like, I can curate it, but the idea of just like, I'm showing up to the act of playing every day regardless of how I feel, and doing the thing. And here's the thing, man, I feel so much better. It's like, no matter how I feel, I could feel like fucking lead, and I can break through it when I sing. I really can. Today I feel like I did. I can't break through it when I get high, or if I try to break through it by getting high, which is what I tried to do yesterday, which didn't work. And I try to disperse my anxiety by intaking different kinds of substances, and it can be even like coffee or tea or tobacco or weed, or it's kind of all I'm rocking on at the moment. But yeah, so this video isn't necessarily me saying that this is what I'm gonna do. I'm simply fleshing out something that I'm noticing, and when there is development upon a formal agreement with myself upon what I choose, I'll speak to that. This is an idea, a circulation, a contemplation, a musing. All right. Thank you for listening. It is a gift and a great pleasure to be on this journey with you. I love you.